Hey, what's going on, everyone? Misha Wilson here, coming at you from my office here on the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. And with that said, I have something really special planned for you over the course of the next few days. You're going to get insider access into something that other people paid literally hundreds of dollars for, where you'll learn directly from our in-house copywriter how he literally crafts emails, builds a relationship with our email list, and promotes to our email list, which results in literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of commissions and sales for us in our business on a monthly basis. Once again, you're gonna learn all the secrets within this playlist. So I'm super excited for you. Once again, our in-house copywriter, John Hostler, is going to be revealing everything from what to do when someone first opts into your email list, how to go ahead and build a relationship, then how to promote to that email list, and how to really build an asset long-term by creating a strong relationship with that list in a way where the list is all right with you going ahead and selling, but also is responsive to your messages. And I know you're gonna get a ton of value. So as always, if you get value, don't forget to let us know in the comments section below this video what your biggest takeaway is from this little, section of the playlist. And don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon notification button if you get value. And with that said, I will see you on the other side. We have the one and only John Hostler coming out. For you guys that don't know John, I can virtually guarantee that you know his work if you read our email newsletters, if you tune into any of our various newsletters, if you guys use the actual swipe file, if you're a TEA client, chances are that you actually use John's swipe files and send John's emails. John is the master copywriter behind a lot of what we do, if not pretty much all of what we do here at SAN at this point, when it comes to emails that he writes, when it comes to video sales letters that he creates, when it comes to video sales letters that he creates for clients, all of the various sales material on the front end, and then also in email form, that all literally flows through John. John's an industry veteran. He's done, offers that have literally done, I believe, over 8 figures in sales. John, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but 8 figures is $10 million. I know he's done offers that have done well over $1 million in sales, one of the best of the best in the industry when it comes to copywriting. And we're lucky enough to have him here today to share with us his magic when it comes to how to write emails that absolutely convert like crazy. So with that said, John, how you doing, brother? Are you there?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfect, man. I got you loud and clear. Good to see you.
Awesome. Yes. Thanks. Good to be here.
Awesome. So yeah, man, I will let you take it away.
All right, so let me do a little share screen then here if I can. Awesome. Okay, great. So yes, Misha, thank you for that very kind introduction. I always get a chuckle out of, not a chuckle, but a kick out of doing these kinds of things because I'm a copywriter. And generally speaking, like words aren't usually like sexy to people, right? Usually, people find like traffic or conversions or like Autobot software that does this or that or whatever. Usually people find that stuff like that's the sexy stuff, right? So I always get a kick when I get on here and get to do these things because it's like, okay, what can I do to make this stuff sound fun, but yet still give you the goods where, like you're pulling value and able to get something actionable out of it, right? So, it reminds me back like when I first got started, it was 2005, 2006 in that neighborhood. And it was a much smaller, almost like a small town, right? Like sort of this own little niche of its own, the internet marketing crowd. And everybody was sort of huddled on this one forum back in the day called the Warrior Forum. And it was sort of like its own little ecosystem. And after I'd been doing this for a couple of years, I remember going to my first industry event, and it was sort of like a Warrior Forum gathering of sorts where you kind of had all these, more well-known marketers that were on the forum, and then just, a bunch of people. And it was basically, you had speakers on stage kind of going through a couple of days. And it was so cool for me because it was sort of the first time that I had been integrated with my people, like here at home. Most people, they have no idea what what I do or what our space is all about. And it's just totally foreign to them. So the idea that, I'm here in my basement clacking away on my computer and, creating copy and creating offers and making money with these things for me and for my clients, like it just totally foreign. In fact, I had one neighbor one time tell me that her and her husband had thought I was a drug dealer for the longest time, because all they knew is that me and my wife were at home all day, and we had packages, that would get delivered to the house quite frequently, because we've been shopping at home forever, and we just never came out, right? So they're like, well, are they drug dealers or what? So yeah, so like the outside world really had no idea about our space, what we did, or anything like that. So it was really cool this first time I went to an event, and, hear people talking about getting clicks and writing sales letters and what about this offer and upsells and this and that. So it was just great to be immersed in that with people that understood. And I'll never forget like the first sort of like event party that I'd ever gone to, like the night of that first event that I went to. I was there with a couple people that I had met, through the forum. And these guys all, they own their own offers. They did this, they did that, different stuff. I was like the only copywriter. And it was so funny because you have so many people like introducing themselves to one another, trying to get to know people at the party. And everybody, well, what do you do? Oh yeah, well, I created this software that, automatically gets conversions and generates thousands of dollars a day. And everyone's like, oh, cool, man, that's the greatest thing ever. And what do you do? Oh, well, I'm an SEO expert and I drive tons of free traffic. And they're like, oh, John, what do you do? I'm a copywriter. Crickets. everybody thought the copywriter was the boring guy. Well, I'm here to tell you that I could see where people's perception of that could be, and it's not, a lot of people find writing maybe to be difficult, but I'm here to tell you that it can be fun and it can be highly lucrative. So for me personally, I spend probably like 60-70% of my time on email copy these days. But as Misha said, I've done VSL, sales letters, all kinds of other types of copy for all sorts of different verticals, niches, whatever you want to call it. But email is probably the one where I kind of have the most fun with it. Partly because at least in this space, you can really just sort of let loose and be yourself. Like there's no, I look back at like high school English class and, my AP English teacher giving me a hard time for, lack of proper punctuation or run-on sentences, or because of my really odd love of ellipses. Like all of that stuff, like that is out the window here. With email copy, as long as you're sort of driving people to the action, as long as that's sort of the premise behind everything you do with the email, you can let loose and have some fun. You can be yourself. You can swear. You can be conversational. It doesn't have to be sort of like this stuffy, really well thought out, big long diatribe at all. It can be short, snappy, and fun, and as I said, lucrative, which is, that's kind of the key to the kingdom there, right? So let's kind of dig into email here a little bit. First off, obviously one of the reasons that I enjoy it is it's fun. The fact that it makes money is great, but one thing that I really enjoy about all of this is that it's data, and not like I'm a math freak. In fact, I was terrible at math in school. If you had told me that I one day would like data or equations or formulas or anything like that, I would have told you are bananas, because math sucks. I suck at math, and forget it. I'll never write a fraction again, right? But here's really what I mean about that. When you do something online, like when you try to generate a lead, when you try to create a sale, right? So you put out an opt-in page, or you send out an email with with a link in there, right? Your audience is going to tell you that they either like what you're saying or they don't like it. And they're going to do that. They're going to, you know how they say, people vote with their wallets, or people will answer with their wallets. Very similar to that whole concept. People will basically, vote with their wallets as in terms of like what you're doing, whether or not it works for them, right? So, and here's why I find that cool and valuable. It's because it's sort of like, I remember, especially when I was just getting started, I kind of was winging it some of these times, right? Like, I mean, I had read, some books from some of the top copy geniuses of the time, and tried to learn and whatnot. But most of my education was kind of, on the fly, in the trenches, right? Like, I mean, I was doing and learning by doing more often than not, right? So, like I remember often feeling unsure of, am I doing the right thing here? Like, is this sort of like the magic formula that's going to make this visitor click? Is this the magic formula that's going to make this person do that? And I oftentimes would sort of get myself like paralyzed a little bit, because I was worried about whether what I was doing was going to be good enough. Well, now I'm older, I hopefully a little bit wiser, but at least certainly through my experience, what I have discovered is I don't have to know in advance about anything, because I can try something out and either, we'll just keep focused on email. So that's what we're talking about today. If I send out an email, the visitors, the subscribers are either going to open the email or they're not. And of the people that open it, they're either going to click it or they're not. And depending on the actions that they take, that sort of dictates what I can do or what I should do in the future. So if I have a subject line that gets a crazy amount of opens, well, guess what? I realize that at that point, I've just hit on something with my list that works. So I'm going to try to replicate that again and again and again, as much as I can for as long as I can, to continue to get that crazy blast of opens. Same thing with the clicks. If I find like a little trick, and there's definitely little tricks, I'll talk to you about some of that stuff here shortly. If I find a little trick that blows up my click-through rate, well, guess what? I'm going to do that as much as I can in every way that I can to continue to get those clicks, right? And that's what I'm talking about with this. And that's the beauty of it. And I guess, sort of the moral of that whole story is that, sure, if you're just kind of getting into this game, you may feel unsure or uneasy about what you're doing, and you may not even put something out there because you're afraid it's not going to work. Well, guess what? Who cares? If it doesn't work, that's simply an answer for you. That means what you did, the audience didn't like it, so just do something else, right? It's really that simple. If you do something and they don't like it, move on and do something totally different. And then what you're going to find is, as you keep doing these things and keep putting your subscribers in front of different types of emails, stuff's going to start to click. You'll find your audience likes a certain style from you. They like a certain subject line from you. They like a certain, body copy from you, etc. And then as time goes on, you're going to just start hitting on winners and winners and winners, where you have more of these winning emails versus losing emails. And I feel like, to me anyway, that makes the whole process so much easier, because it tells me I don't have to know, I don't have to be some, email marketing savant that can predict the marketing future. I just have to know that I'm going to put something out there and I'm going to get an answer. And if I'm smart, I will use that answer to help sort of dictate what I do in the future. And that's really, to me, what it's all about. And one thing that I kind of mentioned, sort of money here, and you're looking at a screenshot on my screen. Hopefully you can see it. Just to kind of reiterate how valuable this is and why I spend so much time involved with it. This is literally one account that I'm managing for email for last year. You can see just under $60,000 in this one account. That is like And this isn't like a, a VSL where I'm trying to show you the proofs and, weave you in through some sales pitch, right? I just want you to see for yourself. And I think I snapped this last night. Just see for yourself that there is absolutely value in email marketing. It shouldn't be an afterthought. It should be, let's get this integrated as soon as I get my business going, right? And the beauty of SAN is, you're following that model where you have you have your funnel with the lead capture into your bridge page, and people are getting onto your list there. So you're already ahead of the game. And what we're going to talk about is how, maybe you can just sort of enhance that and then go on and start getting your own 5-6 figures a year in email income, right? And that's, like I said, this is one account. There's more of these accounts. So email marketing for you alone could be very, very lucrative, right? Okay, cool. So now that's sort of all the, why it's good, why I like it. Let's kind of dig into some of the meat of this stuff, okay? All right, so for you guys, and bear with me here, it's going to take a second for some of these to load. So, all right, hopefully this is loaded up for you. So for you guys, when you are creating that funnel, the one that I just talked about, where it's, lead capture page to bridge page, and then you're redirecting to the offer that you're promoting. Those guys, those subscribers, when they sign up on your lead capture page, they're going into your list, right? And one of the things that we want to do after you get those leads is put them into an indoctrination sequence, right? And there's a couple of different ways to do that. Well, there's always more than one way to do things, but a couple of different things that are very commonly done that I'll talk about. The first option would be what's called a gain, logic, fear sequence. And really, conceptually, this is kind of simple, right? So it's 3 different emails. One is a gain-based email, one is a logic-based email, and one is a fear-based email. So what you're kind of trying to do is hit people at every angle, right? So you shoot them a gain email, and a percentage of the people will take the action you want them to take through that gain email. But a lot of people may not. So then the follow-up to that is a logic-based email. And then you're going to have people that, that's where it hits them, right? Oh, okay. Logically, it makes sense for me to do this. So logically, the next step would be for me to do this. You're going to have people then that, click the links, take the action there, etc. But again, you're still going to have a number of people that do nothing at that point. And then you follow that up with a fear-based email. And then you're going to have plenty of people that are like, whoa, okay, you scared me. I might lose out on this. I'm in, right? And that's kind of the idea, is instead of talking to everybody the same way, you're kind of trying to hit them at different points to get as much of the audience as you can to take the action that you want them to take. Okay? So a little bit more about the gain, logic, fear. I actually have a different type of sequence that I'm going to walk through with you that I wrote myself, but a little bit more about the gain, logic, fear. So when you're writing a gain email, what you want to be thinking about and what you want to be sort of the message you want to be delivering to the people that are reading your email is every benefit, like every big fat benefit that they may gain by taking the action you want them to take. So let's say the action you want them to take is to click through and check out, the sales letter on the next page, right? So if that's the action you want them to take, then the gains of that email would be the benefits of taking that action. And you want to hit the big ones, right? So in this space, the internet marketing sort of make money from home space, what are kind of the big benefits of that, right? Fire your boss, quit your job, no more commutes, sleep until 3 p.m., pay off your bills, pay off your debts, work from home, right? Like all of those things, the laptop lifestyle, work from anywhere, take vacations, blah, 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 right? And you don't want to be promising a Ferrari in the garage by Tuesday, right? Because you can't do those kinds of things. That's simply not allowed. But you know, you can definitely sort of allude to those higher, you know, higher level benefits, right? And people will get that. It will resonate with them. Okay, and that's a gain message. I'm going to skip the logic for a second and go to the fear, because to me, like a lot of times what I see people do on the fear message is they just insert urgency. So they're like, oh, you know, warning, warning, siren, siren. If you don't click that link in the next 5 minutes, this email will self-destruct and you'll never have access again, right? That's kind of what people typically will do in a fear-based email. Well, sure, urgency works, right? But I would say that urgency should only be part of that email, because one of the things that we want to do is dig a little deeper. Like we really want to hit people where it hurts with that kind of message, right? So now what you're going to talk about is like the literal flip side of the gain message, okay? And what that means is this. If in the gain message, by taking the action, they gain all of those various benefits I talked about: fire your job, quit your boss, work from home, you know, sleep until 2 p.m., no more commute, money in the bank, pay off your bills, blah, 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 right? If that's the gain, then the fear is, wow, what's going to happen if you don't act right now? Well, yeah, this may close to the general public, but even worse, you're going to continue to have to work for your boss who underpays and underappreciates you. You're going to have to keep getting up at 6 a.m. and driving to your 9 to 5 and bumper to bumper traffic. You're not going to be able to, you know, do this, do that, right? So what you're doing in that email then is literally the flip side of that gain message, right? Like in the gain, you give it, and in the fear, you take it. That's a really good way to manage the fear message, because people hate to lose out on things. And while, yes, a little bit of urgency is helpful with that, when you really talk about all of the big things that they want in life being taken away, it's gonna connect with them on a deeper level and get more action out of that reader. Okay, and then in the middle message, this is the logic message. So what's nice about the logic message is you don't have to like pull at the heartstrings. You don't have to like try to tap into their fears and get psychological about it, right? Which oftentimes is what people are doing with copy. They're trying to find what makes people tick and get in there and, you know, tinker around or whatever, right? Like with the logic, you don't have to do that, right? The logic is much more rational. And so, you know, maybe part of it is like, hey, you know, listen, reader, right now, today, this is available at $7. Usually this thing is $47. So really, why wouldn't you try this out for a $40 discount? It's fully guaranteed with 30 days, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like now you're just kind of talking about logic and you're being very transparent about everything. And you're not trying to tap into all of those emotions. So that would be a really good way to set up a gain, logic, fear sequence. And again, this is one type of indoctrination sequence that you might try for the people that come into your list after they subscribe to your new funnel. Okay. And sort of the point of that indoctrination sequence is to sort of, well, the point of any indoctrination sequence is to really sort of get them into your ecosystem. Yeah. So kind of get them in, let them know who you are, sort of a welcome. You create some expectations, kind of reiterate the benefits. You've introduced yourself already through the bridge video, but maybe you dig a little bit deeper, or you talk about some of the next steps, right? Like those are a lot of the things that will help to make for a really good indoctrination sequence. And the gain, logic, fear is great, but that's more of an emotional tug, I think. So that's why this example sequence that I wrote last night for you guys that we're going to kind of go through here, I think maybe I would do something more like this. Yeah. And I know that Misha has got some really great templates for you guys to start out with. for these sequences. So there's some stuff for you to build off already where you can do something similar to what I'm about to show you, right? But because of all of those points that I just made, because you really want to get people into your ecosystem, let them build a rapport with you where they feel like, yeah, I know, and I'm going to use myself here, right, to talk about myself. I know John. I know what John's about. I like John. And, if John says something's good, then damn it, it must be good, right? Like that's the vibe we want from a lot of our subscribers. And you're never going to get everybody to be that way. And I think I heard Misha mention before that, it's you want half the people to love you, half the people to hate you, right? Well, you'll never have everybody love you. You just won't. I mean, you could literally hand out $1,000 to 10 people, and at least one of those people is going to say, you're such a show off, right? So you're never trying to make everybody love you, but you are trying to build a rapport with as much people as possible in this setup here, through this indoctrination sequence, so that when you do send out promotional emails, when you do put out things to purchase, that people buy from you. Yeah, good, makes sense. Okay, all right, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of read through this and then kind of double back and talk about some of the things that we've got in here, right? So this is a 3-message indoctrination sequence that I put together last night that kind of does a lot of these things. It's a welcome, we set some expectations. Whitelisting is another thing that we talk about. I'll talk about that a little bit. Reiterating some benefits, talk about myself a little bit more to kind of further tighten that bond, and talk about some of the next steps, right? Oh, and another thing too that I forgot is I heard you guys talk about this earlier on one of the other trainings. There is opening loops, right? So one of the things you can do with these sequences is open some loops so that people want to come back, right? It's like that cliffhanger. Well, shoot, what John mentioned this, but I'm not seeing it yet, so I better come back to get more info about that later.